Southern Pacific Spins book, Imperial Valley, Zones 1 and 2. In this book, dated for 5/6/1981, and spins, basically tells crews how to, or where to spot cars, so they can be loaded or unloaded. Top of the page shows it's zones 1 through 8, and then this gives a definition of the tracks. So if it says 93 in the code, you'll see later, you know it's crane spotting. If it's 95, 96 for piggyback ramps, etc. This book has an extra page on it that some of the other spin books I've done don't have. So let's see if I can make a liar out of me. Okay, so here is Imperial Valley. Zones 1 and 2 is basically El Centro Yard and El Centro proper. So you have the yard track, the main line, between locations, yard track, main track, yard track, etc. At the bottom you have a caboose track. Next page gives roundhouse tracks, industry served roundhouse tracks. One time I guess it was a roundhouse, wasn't there in 1981. The roundhouse tracks don't even go in a circle or even a half circle, they're all in a straight line. The next page is the interesting one. I haven't seen any of the other spin books, and it gives a list of all the mainline tracks for Imperial Valley. Nyland is where this branch comes off of the Yuma sub and works its way down into the Imperial Valley. Did a video on this one, that's Zone 8. Holtville, interurban to Holtville and to the Sandia branch, that's all abandoned. There are no tracks left there. I haven't looked really at the other ones that much, so but I know that's definitely abandoned. And then we come into Zone 1, and it gives a list of all the vendors, or the customers, their track number. The information on the right is how long is the spur or siding, how many cars it can hold, and then all the spots. If it's spiked, that means it was out of service and wasn't anyone's concerned back in 81. This is a relatively new book, so pages stick together, so it takes a little bit longer to flip them through, let you read everything. Inside track, outside track, vacant. Continuing Zone 1, shipper service, storage track, piggyback ramp, 2, 3 piggyback ramps. And then a lot of places. Irrigation, lead track, cooling, vacant. And then we go to the maps. This is where it gets really interesting. So here is the first map. If you read it here, it says there's a Y here. Coming off, Nyland is up that way, I believe. Going in that direction to the top of the page. Southern Pacific isn't keen on north is always at the top of the page, so you have to feel your way around to figure out everything. You see this is Calexo Branch, Imperial Valley. It's El Centro, Zone 1, Part 1. Coming off of here was the Holtville and Sandia branch. They're gone. Nothing there. The next page I go to is going to be extension of these tracks here, and these tracks here is basically coming right down. And there you go. Just extension of those tracks coming down, and this is all in El Centro. This is Zone 1, Part 2. Here. Try and get everything in there, all the information, in case anyone ever wants to model this. Go on the next page, and then we start Zone 2. And on Zone 2, so you got the drill track, the vacant track, Centro team track, house track, auto dock, something you don't see too often anymore. Next page, still in Zone 2, spiked, Pacific Motoring, they're non-business anymore. Drill track, containers, vacant, more containers, more spiked. And then Zone 2, Plywood Company, El Centro Pipe, Lee Track, Seed, Produce, Wash Track. Okay. And then it gets interesting again. Like I said, Southern Pacific doesn't know which way is north. So, Zone 2. Remember Zone 1 had a Y? This is the Y here. Going that way is Zone 1. And then that's where the Y went to Holtville and Sandia. Here you have an old El Centro station. The top Y is for the San Diego and Arizona Eastern. And that went in that direction. So, on this page, top of the page is west, bottom of the page is east. That puts the right north and the left south, because there's Nyland that goes up to Yuma. Now, notice it says Zone 2, Part 2 is over here. So while you keep in mind what you're just looking at, the next page, basically this gets flipped around and continues going toward Calexico. Except now, Calexico's to the right instead of Calexico's to the left. And Nyland's to the left instead of being to the right. And just when you got that all figured out, these up here continue on the next page. Here's Zone 2, Part 3. And again, Calexico is the opposite direction it was on the first page, but still in with the second page. All right, how's that? And that takes care of Zones 1 and 2 in the Imperial Valley. A lot of these tracks still exist today. It doesn't look like there's as many. I was looking at Google Earth. I've been to El Centro recently, about maybe 15, 20 years ago. Some things have changed around. Some things look the same. There you go.